All
Okay,
right.
cool.
So first and foremost, how are you? Could I ask that? That's the important question.
Yeah, I'm good. Like, it's been a very hectic first week, but I think from now on things will just be smooth sailing, I think. Still getting used to the time difference. Obviously, it's still not sunny, but like basically daytime right now. So, and it's like 11 at night, but very different.
So how was the flight over to Iceland?
Uh, it was, I've never been on a flight that's been that long. So I stopped over in Hong Kong. So Melbourne to Hong Kong was 9 hours.
Yeah.
Hong Kong to London was 12 hours. I had
Whoa.
a layover in London for 6 hours, and then another flight 3 hours to Iceland.
That's intense. That's quite intense.
It
Oh,
was.
are you excited about it all? The nerves still getting into you? Just jet lagged?
I'm actually not nervous at all. Like I feel comfortable here. I've done a couple of training sessions now with the girls, and obviously playing yesterday. Yeah, not really nervous. I'm just excited. I think the fact that we haven't played any games since February or W League season, I'm just so happy to be playing football and like competing.
Yeah. This is your first time overseas, isn't it?
Yes, it's my first time.
Because you've been in the W League for quite some time now. You've been in Brisbane Roar, with Melbourne Victory, and in between you played with Heidelberg as well as what was the other? So sorry, I think it's Calder United, right?
Yeah, Calder United.
And
Yeah.
you're the NPL with them, so you've been around in Australia, just jumping between leagues and continuously playing for quite some time, being the first time overseas. Why Iceland?
I'm actually not too fussed about obviously where I'm playing as long as I'm having a good time and the experience is good. But the reason I came to Iceland was I think my agent Ryan Oostendorp. That's very hard, but he actually contacted me. I'd moved down to Melbourne to play in the NPL league again with Calder.
Yeah.
Luckily, stay there and do that because it's shut down. But they were supposed to have another international player from Australia, unnamed, of course. She was supposed to come here and play for the season. Unfortunately, she pulled out last minute, and my agent just called me up and said, like, if you can pack your bags, get your passport, and get ready to leave, we can have you playing over in Iceland in the next couple of weeks. So I had to just kind of pack my life up really quickly and just say my goodbyes to everyone, my family, my friends, and then just hop on a plane. It actually felt very unreal, but I'm here now, and things are actually getting done and running smoothly.
It's amazing how it all works out, and that's pretty well, especially during the midst of a global pandemic. It's quite nerve-wracking and scary, but to be able to put that all together and get yourself into that frame of mind of thinking of just going and catching that moment, that's quite amazing. So you've been in Iceland for quite some time now. How cold is it over there?
It's like consistently like 9 degrees or 10 degrees.
So
And if
are
you're
they more predictable than the Melbourne weather?
basically like the morning time of Melbourne, but just all day.
So you're used to it. You're pretty used to it.
Yeah, I mean, when it gets windy, it's like next level wind, and if it rains, it's a nightmare. But at training the other day, this girl, she used to play in college over in Florida, and she
Yeah.
came back, and we were training, and it was maybe like 11 or 12 degrees, and it was sunny. And she, after warm up, she like took off her jumper, and she was like, "Oh, starting to feel like Florida a bit," and I was like, "Are you joking?" Like,
The
like,
comparison, my gosh.
yeah, it's very different.
Yeah. So you got to play your first game the other day, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was good. I played the first half at right back, which is a bit different for me, obviously as a left footer. But I think my right foot's not equal, but it's getting there. And then I played the second half at left wing, which was awesome. Obviously, being my first game in quite a long time, I think I definitely need to get some game fitness back. But it was just awesome being on the field again. I mean, everyone's speaking a different language, apart from Laura Hughes, who was on the other team. She's another Australian. But it's just funny, like, you think that you're not going to really say much because people won't understand you, but you just end up, I didn't have a voice by the end of it because you just end up yelling anyways and just pointing and shouting, and hopefully, you know, your message gets across.
How good is it to be doing that again? I guess not screaming for a couple months because of isolation. You haven't been able to get used to that, but it's good to feel that. How did it feel walking into the dressing room for the first time, all new players in a whole new different environment?
Yeah, it's definitely a big jump for me. I think all the girls have been really welcoming, and the English speaking over here is actually quite well. Like, everyone speaks English relatively well and they can understand me, but in team meetings and when we go in for a huddle, they obviously get a bit hyped up and just speak Icelandic. So I just kind of have to like clap and just nod and just, like, you know, just feel the energy and just kind of translate what they're saying just by, you know, the pointing, or like someone will sit next to me and kind of like whisper in my ear what they're saying. But it's awesome. I think this team's quite old in comparison to like a W League team. So I'm 22 and I'm considered a young one. So there's a lot of older girls.
It's been good to get that experience from the old girls, of course, and that's a great experience playing in that team. I'm not quite sure about the crowd size in Iceland. Of course, here in Australia, we've still got the restrictions on crowds, but how was it like in Iceland playing for you and your team? Was there a crowd?
Yeah, there was a little one, little bit loud. I think it's weird that like a small amount of like people can make that much noise, but it's insane how popular soccer is and how many people and how many teams like each town has, considering the whole population of this entire like country is not even like the population of Melbourne.
Wow.
Like, it's so different. Like, I walk down the street and I like see like two people, but like, if you go to Melbourne, like you need to like step a million miles away from all the other people who are walking around.
Yeah, definitely. So how does it feel now knowing that you're going to be able to play a full season rather than jumping between the different leagues?
It's awesome. I'm very excited to play this out, and I think they missed out on 2 or 3 games or rounds, and they have a cup, like a tournament as well. So I'm not playing a week. Sometimes I'll be playing, you know, 2 to 3 games in 10 days, and then have little weeks rest and then do it all over again. Like, it's the frequency and intensity that I'm going to be playing games at is awesome. Like, I can't wait to have this time to get game fit and like play so much soccer.
Yeah, this is what you've been looking forward to this whole time. I know the W League and the NPL have been a great impact, have been a positive impact on you, but to finally get something stable and also to this level of intensity, it's of course great to see, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think my contract ends towards the end of October. So depending on when W League starts, I will probably make it back in time to Australia for W League, unless I get picked up another European club or something like that. But
so you have played, of course, I've said it 1,000 times right now in this video, you've played with Brisbane Roar and Melbourne Victory, but in those teams you've played with influential players as well who are already on the national team. How does it feel, of course, playing with them, and were any of them an influence on making this decision to move overseas?
There's definitely a lot of influential players that I've played with, defenders especially. Obviously, being a defender myself, there's a lot of good role models. I remember Brisbane Roar is probably Claire Polkinghorne being like your ideal defender. Like, she's just like a legend in the game. And then moving to Melbourne Victory, I had Laura Alloway, and then now recently Jenna McCormick, who's cracking into the national team as well. I think those girls have really impacted the way I play football and the way that I present myself to a team and, you know, be a presence in the locker room, at training, in games. And I think obviously like girls have been going over to America for a long time now, but the trend recently is European clubs. I think there's about 10 girls over in the UK, and a lot of the girls have come to Scandinavian clubs as well. I think Jenna actually came to Iceland 2 or 3 years ago and had a teammate, Grace Ma, who came to this club last year, and they've all spoken very highly of it. So I just thought, like, why not go overseas and experience a different kind of football?
Yeah. Speaking about the Matildas, this is a very important question, and it's going to be an emotional one too. So where were you on June 25th when the Women's World Cup hosting rights were announced to Australia?
I was in the middle of packing all my bags, and I kind of forgot that it was being announced.
Yeah.
But I was packing, and then my phone just started going off, and like all my friends were messaging me, and my parents had called me as well, saying like it's unbelievable. Like, obviously, it's like, I don't know, it's insane to think that in 3 years' time, especially how, you know, football is right now, that in 3 years' time we're going to have, you know, the biggest footballing event coming to Australia. That's like out of this world. Like, you couldn't have like seen it coming or imagined it, but now it's insane to even just think about.
Yeah, so you've been part of the footballing landscape for some time. I know you're only 22, but you have been around for some time and you do have experience. How do you feel looking back from where you began to now seeing that over the horizon is a Women's World Cup?
Yeah, it's when I started, like, W League was, you know, they didn't have a CBA in place. It wasn't a full-time, it still really isn't a full-time program, but it wasn't as serious, or I'm pretty sure the Matildas back then weren't performing that well in national competitions. But as we like progressed, like the past World Cups and Olympics that we've been in the quarterfinals, and we've played with such intensity, and we've like really made a statement on the world stage that, you know, the Australian team is ready to win something big. And I think 2023 is probably the perfect setup for us to really, you know, stamp our name as Australia as, you know, powerhouse in football, not just the underdogs.
Yeah, definitely. It's only 3 years away and you're still a young player but with a lot of experience. Is the reason why you decided to leave the W League as well as the NPL back and forth season to pursue something overseas and of a higher level, the reason why, is that the main reason why you moved now, so you can be part of that squad hopefully in 2023?
Yeah, like I've always aspired, ever since I was, you know, 11 or 12, I've always aspired to make the national team, go to an Olympics, go to a World Cup. And I've spoken to, you know, my mentors, my agent, and obviously, you know, playing overseas, getting experience, making a statement, you know, proving yourself as a player is so important. And I think in a timeline, 3 years is a long time, but also a short time when you think about it in the big picture, where the player that I am now compared to the player that I want to be in 3 years, it's really important these next like 3 years. So starting my journey now here in Iceland, and then just seeing where it kind of like takes off from here, I think that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing it. So now we're going to go into a couple rapid fire questions just to make it a little more interesting, a little more fun. So these are away from football. Of course, there are, of course, some football questions, but just going to have a little bit of fun here because that's what TLL is all about. All right, so starting from the top, the most basic question. Favorite color?
Black. I know it's not a color, but black.
Don't worry, me too. Favorite food?
Tacos.
Most annoying teammate?
At Melbourne Victory, probably Casey Dumont. Sorry, Casey.
Most comedic teammate?
Jenna McCormick.
Best football memory?
Traveling over to South Korea last year and getting the captain's band.
Oof, nice. Worst football memory?
Missing a penalty in the semi-final against Melbourne City.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
Black coffee or milk coffee?
Milk coffee.
Okay, Melbourne coffee or now that you're in Iceland, Icelandic.
Oh no, Melbourne coffee is the best.
Okay, pancake or waffles?
Oh, waffles.
Yes! We have this thing in TLL where basically the majority of TLL are all pancakes. There's like 2 of us that like waffles, so sucked into the rest of the pancake crew. Okay, so another playing position that you've always wanted to try.
Goalkeeper.
Oh, thank God, I'm a goalkeeper. It's a crazy position. Yeah, I'm 5'2", which is insane, but I'm still in goals. Most aggressive player you've ever played?
Laura Alloway.
Would you rather fight a one giant Laura Alloway or 1,000 small Laura Alloways?
1,000 small ones.
And that's the last of the rapid fire. But thank you so much, Angela, for joining me today on this Zoom chat. I hope you are doing well and it only gets better. And yeah, we'll keep tabs, we'll keep in contact, and we'll be watching your games from this moment on. All the best.
Thank you so much. It's been really great chatting to you.